Part 1. Ebenezer Scrooge, the Ruthless Billionaire. The old man looked terrified. A bead of sweat trickled down his brow and onto his nose and dangled there like a raindrop catching the light. A shiver ran through the old man's body at the sound of a door closing above him, followed by footsteps descending. The drop of sweat fell to the ground as the old man's head swiveled and his eyes looked up and took in the approaching figure. Tall and stiff, the newcomer was dressed all in black. Black Homburg hat, black suit and tie, a long tailored overcoat, black shoes polished so bright they reflected the light. The tall man could have been an undertaker. Such was his sombre air and dark clothing. Only the educated eye recognized the glittering Patek Philippe watch, and the austere cut of the Armani suit and overcoat, garments and accessories beyond the means and tastes of most undertakers. The old man doffed his chauffeur's hat as he opened the door of the enormous limousine, but the austere man did not get in. Instead, his hawk eyes were fixed unhappily on a battered old Mercedes-Benz. Once it had been a classic, a rare 1957 Mercedes Ponton, but the years had taken their toll, and it looked decidedly down at the heel as it rested next to the tradesman's entrance of the palatial house, its glorious bodywork now covered in a patina of rust. The hawk eyes of the tall man prized themselves away from the old car and held the chauffeur in a blinkless stare. "What is my father's old car doing here?"
Mr. Scrooge, I was going to drive it away the moment I finish work."
"You were going to drive it? Where exactly?" The old man cleared his throat nervously.
"To my house, Mr. Scrooge. It's my last day at work."
A pregnant pause. "And why would you be taking my father's old car?" The ice-blue eyes could have cut a diamond. In this case they seemed to cut off the old man's air supply as words formed on cracked lips, but failed to emerge. A plume of red appeared on the skin at the old man's neck, spreading rapidly above the starched white collar of his shirt.
"Mr. Scrooge, you may remember your father gave me the car before he passed away. He said it would be my retirement gift."
The icy blue eyes continued to regard the chauffeur as a bird of prey might regard a mouse. "Retirement," said the tall figure through a forced smile.
"Yes, sir. 50 years of service ends today."
"And my father promised you his old car?" The old man's smile dared to appear, mixed with a generous dollop of pride.
"Yes, Mr. Scrooge, you know how I love to tinker with old cars."
Another long pause. The unblinking eyes narrowed. "And the keys?" The old man fished in his pockets, the red patch on his neck spreading. He held up a trembling hand, an antique leather fob with faded gold lettering bearing the logo Mercedes-Benz caught the morning sunshine. "Did I and my late father always pay you well for your services, George?" Scrooge asked. The old chauffeur nodded. The red blotch was now creeping up his cheeks. "Surely that should be enough," said Mr. Scrooge, taking the keys. "Sadly, my father was always more generous with everyone but his son." A glacial smile touched his austere lips, but did not reach his eyes as he pocketed the keys. The eyes of George, meanwhile, had pooled with 2 large tears. He stood stock still for a moment, his quivering lips moving wordlessly. Scrooge observed him, his face twisting into a look of pure disgust. He sucked in his breath and, stooping, entered the limo and settled on the back seat, picking up the neatly folded Financial Times that lay there ready for him. He opened the pink pages as if to shield himself from his chauffeur's crass display of emotion. George paused for a moment before shutting the passenger door with a soft thud. He shuffled back to the driver's door, his old cracked lips mouthing words impossible to comprehend. He sat in the driver's seat and, with a great effort of will, started the engine. The car moved up the wide gravel drive and onto the road. George forced his bloodshot eyes not to look at the old Mercedes that, up until seconds ago, had been his. He stifled a sob.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.